ahead, Keri. Go ahead, Keri. Go ahead, Keri. Tell her like it is, boy.
Darrell Bennett's back on the corner. We're always glad to see him. You have this. Somebody's going to make a comment, I know. You guys need to be careful because it's June. And although June to me is basically Black Music Month exclusively, it's also Gay Pride Month. So you guys need to be careful when I make statements like what I'm about to say. And Darrell, you just have the most winning smile ever. Like, you're always smiling.
Thank you.
It makes me want to smile. You know what I mean? You can't not smile around this guy. You know what I mean? Seriously.
Thank you.
So welcome back to the Keri's Corner Show. Thankfully, they didn't make any inappropriate comments yet. It shouldn't bother you. You've been on the show quite a few times.
Yes,
you're
I
used to the
Thank you for having me.
improperness that we.
Very great.
Yes, you're welcome. So I wanted to talk to you. I wanted you to come back on the show specifically for Juneteenth. And we had a lot of things that we want to discuss. First and foremost, though, before we get into all the particulars about all the great things that we want to discuss in terms of community building, etc., let's get this out the way, right? Let's talk about this book. So the book, Come Back Swinging.
Come Back Swinging.
I have 2 copies. I know that I do. I think you gave me, because you've given me a copy the first time you was on the show, and then you gave me I believe the second edition.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have 2 copies. And they're both autographed because I wouldn't accept them any other way. Quickly, what inspires you to put your life on paper?
I want to see more people not allow setbacks make them sit back.
Right.
I want more people to realize it's your destiny that's more important than your history.
Right.
So I put my life on Front Street so you recognize, stop giving yourself so many excuses to fail.
Right.
Somebody did it from your neighborhood.
Right,
Somebody did it with less help than you had.
Correct.
Somebody did it and went to prison. Somebody
Right.
did it and got out of a bed and had a disease.
Right.
Somebody did it. So Come Back Swinging is really more than a book. It's a lifestyle.
Right, okay.
It's how do you come back from defeat, from failure, from setbacks, from crises, and change your life and bounce back better. And that's what it's about.
So as long as I've known you, which has been a couple of years at this point, every time I see you, you're wearing I sniffed. Oh, God, I sniffed. Awful radio etiquette. Awful. Bad Keri. Every time I see you, in addition to the smile, there's the obligatory blazer, the slacks, the dope shoes, and the button-down shirt. And that's your casual wear, right?
So no, this is... Wait a minute. Hold up, Keri.
Okay.
This is not my casual wear.
Really?
No, this isn't
But
casual.
I've also seen...
Casual would
Right,
be me coming in shorts.
No, listen. Hear
a
me.
tank top.
Listen. It's the most casual I've seen you.
Got it.
I've
Okay.
seen you in the ties and everything. You know what I mean?
I understand.
And yet you've been to prison. Mm-hmm. So I would have never guessed that when I first met you. But then people say that about me. You've been to jail. Like, I don't wear my damn DIN number on my forehead. You know, we don't get branded anymore. But I gotta ask you, D. I don't think I've ever asked you this before, and hopefully you won't leave me hanging out on the wind. What the hell did you do to go to prison?
Well, that's why you got to read Come Back Swinging.
But for those, but we're having a conversation.
Well, we are having a conversation, and
Okay.
everything that. So this is the thing.
He's
I
gonna
did a
twist
number
it.
of things.
This is why I've never actually gotten this answer from you. I thought to myself, why don't I know? But okay.
Why is it important?
I just
No, I mean it's a good conversation.
I'm going to explain it. I'm going to
tell
explain
me.
it. I'll tell you when you tell me what you did to go to prison.
But I don't think that's important. What's important? Well, go ahead.
Okay, this is why I'm going to say this, right? Because there are different types of crimes. When a person goes to prison for, say, a white-collar crime, which is what I went to prison for, there's certain things that post-release offers and affords people that it doesn't afford people that rape, murder, or commit arson. So the reason I was asking you that is because one of the things that's important for people, specifically those who are incarcerated, who are trying to transition into mainstream society, I wanted to know was it the type of, because there are different opportunities for different people. You can get out of crime, you can get out of jail for committing a white collar crime and still do most of the there's not going to be many things set in front of you. Whereas if you went to prison for like hijacking a plane, for example, it's different.
Yeah, for terrorism.
So I kind of, that's why I asked.
Well, let me answer it
plus,
this way.
damn it, I'm nosy.
Well, did you, obviously, but I hope you read the book.
I did.
Okay, so this is how I answer.
But the listeners, go ahead.
This is, it was definitely not white collar.
Okay,
It was all types of dirt they threw on my name.
Okay.
And the reason why I want you to read the book is because this is the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go beyond one sentence and to understand my life. That's why I put it out there.
Right.
But this is what's important to know.
Mm-hmm.
That why I went and what I had to fight through 10 years. It was a 10-year battle.
Damn.
It was not white collar.
Yeah.
And it was something that very few people come back from.
Got you.
And so I put the book out because I wanted people to do more critical assessment of their life than just allowing themselves to be defined by this sentence.
Right.
Because that's what we tend to do.
Absolutely. By this sentence, by this act.
This act,
Right.
This neighborhood I came from, this place
These
that I was
parents.
born into.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I wanted to, by example, show people your story is more. Your
Right.
story is bigger.
Right.
And you have a story. You have a
Correct.
story.
Yeah.
You have a story. And so that's part of what I help people do, and that's why I put it out there.
Yeah.
I want people to take pride in every part of their life and every part of their journey.
Got you. And one more thing about the book before we move to the next topic. Do you ever get up in the morning or whenever you get up and look over and you see your book, just the book, because I know you have plenty other accomplishments. You ever look at the book and smile and say, damn it, I had no idea that I'd be here today when I was there yesterday? You ever have one of those? I have one of those moments damn near every day.
Maybe I should have more. Not so much looking at the book, but thinking about life, thinking about how good God has been to me, thinking about all the things that I've come through. But I don't know if I necessarily looked at the book and said that,
okay.
but I probably should do that.
Because if you turn the book over, KeVaughn, if you turn the book
Turn it
over,
over, KeVaughn.
the back cover is a dual cover shot. One is of you at your graduation. The other is a picture that was taken of you, obviously in the prison yard. Where were you graduating from when you took that picture?
Harvard.
That's what I'm talking about. Wow. Clap it up for that dude right there. Wow. Wow. Okay. So I over-talked a little bit. Just let everybody know where they can pick the book up if they want to.
They can go anywhere. So anywhere books are sold, whether it's Amazon. Where else are books sold now? I was going to say Barnes and Nobles. Okay, are they still around?
Yeah, online.
All right. But it's in audio form.
Okay.
It's ebook.
Nice.
It's as well as paperback and digital copies, hardcover. And this is the thing, it's a great gift. If you know somebody that's down, if you know somebody that feels like they messed up so bad, they screwed up so much, they can't come back, they need to read this book.
Right.
They need to read this book. Because this is the thing, Keri, I'm winning more now than before.
I know that's right.
You know,
Then
after
when-
all
then
the
when you
stuff
wrote
they
the
dragged
book.
me through.
Right,
Yeah, and,
right.
and before I went through all the stuff that the book is based on.
Right. Well,
What was meant for evil, God turned around for my good.
but it was part of your journey. You know what I mean? I was talking
absolutely.
Let me tell you something, and then we're going to go into our artist spotlight break. I was speaking to a friend of mine, Enoch, over the weekend at his house up in Upper Manhattan. We were talking about both of our prison experiences. He and I were incarcerated around the same time period. And it definitely doesn't have to define you, but it had to happen. I personally believe that it had to happen. It had to happen for me to be able to appreciate my journey. It also had to happen, in as far as I'm concerned, because it gave me empathy, the ability to want to help other people that have been incarcerated and who have just had stumbling blocks in their life. How do you feel about that? Like, in terms of helping other people?
Well, absolutely. And I mean, I have a unique story because remember, I was an attorney.
Right.
So I'm
Wow.
one of the few people in America today who was an attorney and is on the way. Obviously, I'll be able to get reinstated.
Right.
And also was in federal prison.
Right.
So, you know, I had a different experience. I hate to keep saying read the book, but
Right.
really it's true. I had a sort of different experience because remember, I was taught in this. I was learned in this, as it were.
Correct.
I walked people through the system.
Right.
But then when I was going through it, it's different when you're going through it.
Of course.
And so I faced a lot of struggle around that. What I thought it was supposed to be based on
What
how
you
I
found out,
learned
that it
to
is.
be
Yeah.
versus, and most people don't have that other end.
Right,
I
that's
mean,
true.
most people that go through the system, if you think about it, they haven't had the background of studying it
Right.
and being
Exactly.
an attorney. And then the ones that are attorneys, right, and the ones that are even are advocates and, champions of it,
They've
they
never
haven't been through the
been through
system.
the system, right,
So I'm one
exactly.
of the few people that's had my foot in both worlds and really
Right.
understands differently. So I
Interesting.
have a lot of things to say about
Interesting.
it. But
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
We're going to talk to you in the second hour. We're going to get deep in about the suggestions that you have for community building.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most important things in terms of being a person of color in America, a person in America, period. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about in the next hour. We're back with one of my favorite guests, Mr. Darrell Bennett. How are you, brother?
I'm great. He's
got his notes.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for
Let me
being
say
thank
that.
you for being a guest on the show and being a friend of the show.
Thank
so,
you.
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you the mic.
You like?
What you got going on? Here's the sentence. You ready?
Yes. What's the sentence, Keri?
So what you got going on?
What I got going on?
What you got going on?
All right. We are working with city leaders and government leaders, officials, as well as just people who are interested in taking people's lives and transforming their lives.
In New York City.
In New York City, but
Okay.
globally.
Okay.
We're globally. We're
Okay.
in D.C. We're in Boston.
Okay.
We're about to do some things in Europe. Now,
Good.
you set the stage great by talking about the book.
Right.
That's part of what my life had been, right?
Yes,
Having been in prison, having come out, but more important than that is what are we doing now?
Yes,
That gave
yes.
me the platform to be able to do things like we're doing now.
Correct.
We're working with the mayor's office on putting together programs to work with people around how do you actually use your natural gifts of selling, of leadership, of persuasion, and you turn that into profitable businesses. We believe that the real focus needs to not just be on social justice, but on economic revitalization.
Okay.
And that's why I started the B Square Global Group about 3 years ago.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
it's a company that's really focused on empowering people on wealth and work, and helping them take their talents and gifts and really impact the world in a whole new way.
So how do you break down the steps to achieving such goals with achievers, I guess?
That's a great question. So we walk people through an entire process. Mentorship, and I guess I just shouldn't throw out that word. This is what mentorship means. Mentorship is someone who's invested in your success, who has the blueprint, who's seen further than you see, who is going to help you get there.
Okay.
And so really what my focus has been over the past, I'd say 2 to 3 years, and really now more than ever, is about how do we really walk people through tangible ways of being more successful. So it's different programs depending on who you are. A student, right? A college student, a graduate school student has a different journey than someone who's been in the workforce for a while, than someone else who maybe has been, is shifting in their career. But I'll say this is the start of it, getting clear. We help people, first of all, get clear on what is it that you want to do.
Okay.
And then get committed. Get committed to actually having a goal, to actually having something that you want to do, and then we're going to put a strategy in place to help you get there.
So your organization doesn't have a brick and mortar type situation. How do people reach out to you to begin the process of absorbing all that information?
So they can come several different ways. One, they can come to darrellbennett.com and they can always follow what I'm doing.
Okay.
Mentorship, empowerment, and inspiration is what I live for. It's what I was born for. It's what I do. They can also go to comebackswinging.com. So thanks again for really setting the stage right. It's not just a book.
Right.
It's a lifestyle. You go to the website and what you'll see is we are working with people to transform their lives, help you tap into your natural gifts of selling, of leadership, of persuasion. You already have it. And how do you use that to impact the world? So you can go to comebackswinging.com. And you can also go to journeyglobal.com. That's
Okay.
one other site without the E. And that's a gaming app. So
Okay.
that's another thing,
Yeah,
Keri,
yeah.
that I'm involved in. I have a gaming app that's coming out next week.
Nice.
That's walking people through the process of how to get from the life you were born to the life you're destined to.
I have 2 questions. I want you to define in your own words 2 terms. The first one is empowerment.
Okay.
The next one is mentorship. So let's start with empowerment. I want Darrell Bennett to give our listeners his definition of the word empowerment?
I love it. So let me put it this way. Empowerment, and all you're getting, get understanding. Empowerment is actually when you have education that leads to you being able to change the world. It's actually information that leads to insight. What do I mean by insight? Sight into you that's going to help you tap into the power that you already have. You have a God spark. Everybody has it. I'm not talking religion now.
Right, you're talking spiritual.
You were born divine.
Right.
You were born great.
Right.
You talked yourself out of your own magic. And so empowerment is anything that is going to lead you to understanding the power you already have.
Okay.
Second thing, mentorship. Somebody that has the blueprint. Jay-Z wrote a book years ago, The Blueprint. He did an album too. So I think it was the album, then the book. And he was on Oprah's Masterclass for that. So who in your life has the blueprint?
Right.
So mentorship is about someone who has the blueprint that's invested in your success,
Okay.
who is going to help you walk along the journey of life.
If one doesn't have somebody whom he or she looks up to in their either in their homes or in their social circles, where can they find a good mentor? Because there are a lot of people that people could consider mentors, entertainers, athletes, etc. But where could a person find a tangible mentor that would be good for them, for their spiritual health, their economic health, etc.?
So I would say this: look at your network first.
Okay.
There's more mentors than there are mentees. What do I mean by that?
Yes, you've said that before. I love it.
There's more people that want to pour into your life than there
Right.
are people that are willing to listen.
Yes.
You have a lot of people that have a poverty mentality. They want the money, but they don't want the mindset.
Right.
They want the resources, but they don't want to invest in a relationship.
Right.
So the first thing you have to recognize is there's somebody in your life that has the blueprint. And if you can just get in the room, if you can get around them, if you can get humble enough to ask questions are, or excuse me, let me put it another way, answers are the employees of questions. So if you want better answers, you need to ask better questions. So part of it is getting around the right people,
Right.
asking the right questions, and being humble enough to listen. And I promise you, if you are moving in that vein, people will come to you and say, hey, I want to do something for you.
Right.
Or have you thought about this? Or have you thought about that? Keri, mentorship is one of the biggest things that I think is lacking in our communities. This is why I'm so
Absolutely.
passionate about
Right,
this. We see it in sports under coaching. That's what they are. They're
Right,
mentors. They're not
exactly.
just helping them condition their bodies. They're
Right.
talking about relationships. They're talking about what do you do when you get the money, right?
Right.
Everybody that's a high performer in life has a mentor. It's only in our communities that we go to school, even if we went to college, we get a degree, you get a job, and now you look back and you're like, well, who needs mentorship?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
The biggest people that I know, even highest earners, they invest in mentorship. They constantly are investing in someone that's going to help them see further. And so that's why I started the company, but that's why I'm so passionate about helping people. Look, my story, Comeback Swinging, would not have been possible with just motivational speaking.
That's
It
true.
took
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
transformational coaching.
Right,
This is
right.
what I need people to understand. You've got to go beyond inspiration.
Right.
You've got to go beyond encouragement. You need a strategy. You need a battle buddy. You need a mentor. You need someone that sees further than you. And so it's important that you have that.
I'm assuming then that you have a mentor or several.
I have many. I
Give
have
me
many.
not necessarily the names, but what characteristics do your mentors have? I'm curious as to know who you would be, asking questions to. Yeah, I'm curious.
So I'm glad you asked that. So I have mentors that have helped me cover different areas in life. So you've got
Right.
spirituality, you've got business, you've got relationships, you've got
Right.
career, you've got personal. I'm looking for people who've had demonstrated success. So my
Okay.
business mentor, he built a $300 million business from the napkin on his kitchen table.
Wow.
My
Okay.
spiritual leader is a bishop that's been the bishop over my life since I was 5 years old.
Got you.
The person that kind of mentors me through aspects in life, this man is 74 years old. I went
Right.
to him with an issue not long ago. He said, let me tell you how I dealt with that in the 80s.
So the important thing is, I think, well, maybe not for everybody, but I guess I would probably concur with you, Darrell. Having many mentors is
Oh, yeah.
important. That's a piece I don't think a lot of people get. That many
Yes.
people can offer many different attributes that help you collectively grow in different directions.
Yeah, well, Solomon said it best. In the multitude of counselors, there's safety, and with many hands, a man wages war. You need more than one person.
Right.
They once said, I read a study, it said that the average millionaire had seven coaches before they got their first million.
Makes sense.
So you got to ask yourself, how did you get your first million? The people that coached me to great wealth were people who had it.
Right.
This is the other thing. We talk to people who we like, but we're not talking to people who have demonstrated success.
Right.
Or
Okay.
we talk to people who want to encourage us. Baby, I want to love on you. But she don't have the blueprint.
Right.
That's what a mentor has. Right. So, and this is the other thing. See, this is the thing, Keri. Can you know when you're in the room and you're outclassed? I know that
Yes,
about me.
exactly, yeah.
I know when I'm in the room and somebody knows more than me.
Right.
And I know when I'm in the room and somebody is operating at a higher level. But some folks, they want to argue so much and debate that they miss the opportunity to be mentored because they want to be right rather than understanding that, you know what, this person's moving on a different frequency.
Is there any way possible that a person could be mentored by somebody that hasn't achieved as much success as they have? Because that's important.
Mentored in what way?
In any way. Spiritually, emotionally, maybe even financially.
Let me get the question right. So you would be mentored by someone spiritually, or let's say spiritually, who you felt like wasn't as far along as you are spiritually?
Right, correct. Could you be?
I don't think that's mentorship. I think
Okay.
that's the blind leading the blind, and they probably gonna both fall into the ditch. Well, honestly,
Okay.
now nobody has. I have a classmate from Morehouse. He say, everybody has a piece of the pie missing. Yeah, but if I'm going for mentorship with someone, I'm not going where your pie, the piece where it's missing. So
Yeah.
that's part of the issues even in
Gotcha.
our communities, right?
Right.
And I say this respectfully, particularly from our church folk. We listen to people who are eloquent, but not people necessarily who have demonstrated success.
Right. Okay.
Right? Do you know what you're talking about, not just know how to say it well?
Have you experienced what you're talking about?
Have you experienced it? Exactly.
Okay.
So having a mentor, understanding the same way you aren't self-taught in school,
Right.
somebody had to teach you. Think about this, Keri. All of the languages that most of us know is what we learned growing up.
Right.
So if you learned 3 languages in your home, you probably still speak 3 now.
Right, exactly.
Most people who know 3 today is because they grew up with 3.
Of course.
All right. So I was blessed because I broke out of the paradigm. I learned a different language.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm teaching people. I learned German. You've got to learn a different language in life
Okay.
in order to move to the next level. And that's what a mentor is going to help you do. Learn another language. Now I'm not talking German, English. A
Right, you're
different-
talking about another language, period.
Yes, another way
The
of
language
interacting in
the
life.
language of success.
Yes, I like that.
The language of
I'm gonna
success.
Use that. The language of success.
Let everybody know how they can get in touch with you personally.
Yes.
You don't have to give out your phone number or nothing like that.
Well, I do have a phone number to give
Okay,
out
well,
because
I'm
it's
just saying.
man 24/7. It is 888-571-3989.
Okay.
Again, that's 888-571-3989. And you can also find me anywhere. Social media is Darrell Bennett, 2 R's, 2 L's, 2 N's, 2 T's. On any of the social media networks, and darrellbennett.com. I really appreciate you having me on, Keri. I really do. I really do.
We appreciate you coming to the show and giving us so much knowledge, eloquence, and of course that winning smile.
Thank you.
That winning
Thank
smile.
you.
He's got his notes and everything. KeVaughn, make sure you get a picture of his notes. He comes with his notes.
I come with my notes. Yes.
He comes prepared.
Yes.
Keri's on a wheel, show you just what you were made of.